Nate Norman, head women's soccer coach here at Liberty, has finalized his coaching staff with the hiring of Josh Rife. Josh, thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us here. You're busy moving the family and trying to find a home. What's the life like been around the couple of weeks you've been here at Liberty?
It's been great. I mean, I think that the reputation Liberty has of just really being a welcoming campus and just a life for Christ is evident with everybody you meet. Everybody's personable, everybody's welcoming, that everyone's willing to help out however they can. So it's really been a great few days since I've actually got my feet here on campus.
Josh, you've got a lot of circles that surround you and Nate and friends and connections. When did you first hear about the opportunity to come here to coach at Liberty?
Yeah, actually, it came through the men's assistant coach, Jose Gomez. So he's a former teammate of mine. I actually coached with him at a previous university. And he just called me up and said, hey, there's an opportunity here. Would you be interested? And that was really kind of the first phone call that I got about this position.
Getting to know you, Josh, your wife, Christy, also has a background in soccer. How about you and your career around soccer? Let's go way back. When did you get introduced to the game, and what do you enjoy about it so much?
Probably like a lot of people, I got introduced to the game at a really young age. So I think I was 4 or 5 years old, started playing. And, it always made sense. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain that, but there's a lot of things sometimes, I would say if there's one frustration that I have as a coach sometimes, and I think you hear this and it correlates in a lot of sports, but sometimes things that might come natural, trying to then get other players to understand that. But I would just say my natural draw to is that it made sense, but I think for me coaching-wise, what I love about it is then trying to say, okay, what have I learned about the game, and then what are the ways I have to go about to try to help players try to grasp some of those concepts.
One of your first introductions to Liberty was a couple of years ago. Your wife was on maternity leave coaching at Gardner-Webb, and you filled in for her on a match here. What were your impressions when you got to Liberty with that match, and what do you remember about coaching in that game?
Yeah, it was something, speaking with my wife, and she had a little bit more experience in the Big South at that time, and one of the things that you hear a lot about is what Liberty was doing just as a university, as a campus, and so you hear these things, and I had the opportunity to come up and just see firsthand that, as it's continuing today, all the growth of the university itself, but then specifically within athletics, and even then the conversation from us having a young daughter and loving just kind of college sports, that we said, man, what a great place that has to be at Liberty, and who would have thought that 3 years later here we are.
You've coached and played obviously both in college and professionally. What do you think the biggest difference is in the level of the two, college and pro, playing soccer?
I think this is something I tell players at any level, that anytime you take a step up, two things change: time and space. You have less time and less space to do things. The skill set, it's all the same, and you need to be good, and you have to be a little bit better every time you take a step up in the level. But as far as what's going to make you successful at every level, that doesn't change. You've got to have a technical ability, you have to have a tactical awareness, you have to have a certain work ethic and a drive to want to be successful and want to do well. And those things, it doesn't matter who you're coaching, where you're coaching, that doesn't change.
Josh, I'm always intrigued to get the stories on why men or women decide to get into coaching. For you, why did you decide to follow this path?
It was something, obviously, I was really fortunate and blessed to have a relatively long playing career. I played for 11 years, and it was something that, I don't think, at least in, I don't want to call it minor league, but in the second division, third divisions of professional soccer in the U.S., you don't do it for money, that's for sure. And so it was definitely something I enjoy. Obviously, my wife loves the game, and so it just made so much sense, and I think the game has afforded me so many opportunities that it was just a great opportunity for me to give back to other players and hopefully afford them some of the same opportunities that I had.
Nate offers you the job. What are some of the first few conversations that the two of y'all had, and maybe with the team, the girls that might be on campus now, about this season coming up this fall?
Obviously, this is a team that's had a lot of success recently, and so I think for Nate and I, we want to continue that. But again, because both of us are very new to Liberty, I think he beat me here by about a month or so. We know that early on there's going to be just a lot of observations. watching players and getting to know them. And I think something that's so underrated in sports, and I don't want to, I hesitate to say managing, because I don't think they're not like possessions per se, but personalities, and everybody's different. And I think that's something you learn more and more in coaching. It used to be a little bit, there's one way to do it, and it's kind of this hard line that you take, and it's my way or the highway type coaching. And while there is a certain place for a coach to make those stances, also when you're working with people, everybody's just different, and so you're going to have to learn what makes each player tick a little bit, and how what buttons to push to get the most out of each player. And so we know that early on that's going to be a big thing, is getting to know our players and their personalities both on and off the field.
And finally, Josh, we love promoting Liberty and what it stands for, but I also enjoy learning about the coaches and student athletes away from the field. For you, if you had an open weekend, maybe a week off from soccer, you and your wife Christy, your family, what do y'all enjoy doing?
I think in the coaching realm, because the schedules tend to be so crazy at times, I had a little bit of time off in between this transition here, and it was just spending a lot of time at home. So I've got 2 young kids, a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old, and so that time goes really quick. And so we tend to be kind of homebodies, I mean, again, because of all the travel that might go on, at least for me, with work, that when there's downtime, we just, we'll hang out together, and we might go and, play in the park or something like that. My oldest one she's a pistol, so we got to run some energy out. So.
Well, Josh, we appreciate your time. Welcome to Liberty. Can't wait to catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's women's assistant coach Josh Rife.